Maybe you should give him a call as well. We'll see what happens. But let's get back to our own discussion now. And I'm joined by two very great men, Dominic Habyarimana. Very many people don't get it right. Habyarimana. Okay, that's Dominic. He's been a coach for the under-20 Kenya rugby side, the Chipukizi side. And you've been also in the senior team as well, haven't you? So you are well versed with matters rugby on both senior and junior levels. And we've got Wangila Sibiu, who's been team manager as well for the under-20 side, specifically?
No, 15s.
At the 15s?
The 15s, yes.
The senior side?
The senior side,
okay.
Yes.
You never handled the juniors at any time?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
No, that's important. And also to note that you have been watching the matches that were going on at the stadium. I think we bumped into each other at the stadium watching the matches. Let me start with the coach.
Yes.
Where do you think the Chipukizi are? We are talking very genuinely, very openly. We are not trying to cast doubt or throw stones or throw mud at anybody. We are analyzing the competition. I watched Uruguay. Massively built boys. It's difficult to believe that they're under 20. You can't get past those guys, even if you're playing in the 15 senior side. They're big. I watched Spain. Very big boys and very fast as well. I watched US. Fast, not very big, but at least with some good tact as well. I think I watched everybody else except Scotland. I don't know why I didn't watch them. What do you make of the competition and watching Chipukizi as well?
Yes, so we have been in JWRT, the World Rugby Trophy 3 times. First time we came 4th. Second time we came 6th. This time we're hoping to be 5th. So we're treading water in the middle of the table. Yes, that means we're growing, but not fast enough to get to the top, but we're growing faster than say the USA. So USA was with us in JWRT here, same Nairobi in 2009. That's when we coached them. We beat them that year. This year they're dropped to 7th, or they're playing for 7th. So we are growing faster than the US, yes, but we want to grow faster than Spain, faster than Chile and Uruguay and all those guys.
What will take us to be at the top? Because we are comparing ourselves at that lower level of 5, 6, and moving.
Yes.
You know, any move from 7 to 6 is an improvement. But there's also number 1 and 2. And if you look at those boys, and I'm insisting, and I saw the Chipukizi as well. They've got a lot of tact, a lot of talent.
Yes.
Chipukizi, they have talent. Yes. But now it gets to a point where it's not even about the talent anymore. It's just about the build as well, plus the speed and the talent. There must be some added ingredient. How do we add this ingredient?
So we have people who build our boys. You know, they come out of high school, really skinny, small boys. Yeah, but within a year, we have coaches and SNC people who can turn them around and grow them at the rate they're supposed to grow when they were in high school. Because in high school, they're starved for proteins and all that stuff. But imagine the way we are playing. We played against Hong Kong, yes, massive improvement, right, compared to our first game.
Correct.
Imagine if you are given the coaches Curtis and all his SNC staff.
We'll bring it down to the money.
No, not the money. Time.
The time. Listen, let me change this a bit so that maybe we can analyze it at a better perspective. What is it you would have enjoyed as a coach in a team like Uruguay? What is it that you think would make you want to coach a team like Uruguay? What do they have?
Oh, I would love to have the spirit of Kenyans, first of all.
Yes? They have a spirit. They have a spirit.
Yes.
The other thing that
as the team manager, you obviously see these things.
Yeah, just to take you back. Floating between 4 and 5, we have homework. Where is that homework? 1, unless we go back, the other day the KRFU chairman was talking about, which was a very good thing, investing in primary schools.
Correct, yeah, starting early.
Remember, for body to build and a young man to develop from age 12, from age 14, from age 17 to 16, that is when now development of a young man properly takes off. Now, facilities. 2, funding. 3, centers to build these players in, and 4, tracking these players. Unless we go back to the drawing board and we look for sponsorship, we look for sources, and then we look for strategic plan, not just talking, strategic planning, because to reach the level that you're talking about Uruguay, if you looked at the Uruguay game and the spirit they have, if you looked at the Spanish, they're big, but very fast and very aggressive. Our boys are aggressive, but now look at the bodies.
And they're not fast.
And they're not fast.
Now, you're pointing at something I really want to look at.
Yes.
You know, we're still playing, the game has evolved.
Yes.
We're still playing traditional rugby as Kenya, according to what I saw. We're still playing it for enjoyment. We want to sidestep. We want to try and, you know, just turn on the blind and move immediately there, while we can see pretty well there's a brick wall there. How do we inculcate that, that game spirit of intellect, game spirit of quickly knowing I can't make it through here, there's a big opening on the other side, there's an overlap on that side, let me recycle the ball onto that side?
Remember, Bernard, right from the development stage, age 12, age 14, age 17, the awareness of the game depends on your background of rugby. Most of the boys now, as he said, as Dominic said, when you come off now school, is now you're getting into club level, you're getting into now maybe Eric Shelley Shield, you're getting into that level. Before that, remember, teams like Uruguay, teams like Spain, right from childhood, these guys, there is investment. When you go to South Africa, there's breeding of players. A player is actually bred into a certain position.
In fact, if you watch even primary school rugby in South Africa,
Yes.
you get players as big as Chipukizi players in primary school.
Exactly.
At secondary school, you will get players as big as the ones we had in the under-20 here for Uruguay and for Spain.
I happen to work with the Western Province, right from the development coach that is Jerome Parwata. I will tell you, the systems down there are awesome.
They're awesome. Okay, so systems is one thing we need.
The systems and structures. Now, yes, we have the plans. Yes, we can be given money. But where are the structures? Where are the systems?
Let me hear what Ken has to say. Something is burning here.
I listened to what Dominic said, although Wangila has clarified part of it. You know, if you're going to starve me of proteins until I finish Form 4, by the time I finish Form 4, I'll be 18 years old. And in 2 years' time, you expect me to have built like these Uruguayans and have built the capacity and the intelligence to play rugby at that level. It's going to be difficult. That's why I keep saying, and that's why I said earlier, I wish we could start at the beginning. Exactly. Let's start much earlier. Let's start 5-6 years earlier. I like the South African model. Do we have the capacity to do that here, Bernard? I just wonder.
Ken is bringing part of the solution. He wasn't going to ask a question. It's part of now of the... My question is, and it's also partly will answer what Ken wants. Why can't we recruit those who are already massively built at that lower level and then inculcate the talent in it? And I'll give you the reason why I'm asking you this. In basketball right now, we've got young people, young girls and young boys who are getting that height that is required for basketball at college level in the US. In volleyball in Kenya now, some of the high school students are already going professional because now we are recruiting them at that stage down there, already built. You're not waiting for them to come to the under-20 and then try to put some muscle into them. Is it going to happen that way, that you can actually recruit from the lower there?
You now need hubs in different provinces, counties in Kenya. In Kisumu, for example, by nature, guys, robots. The build is quite strong upwardly. If you come to Western Kenya, guys are tilling the farms, guys are doing that. If you go to South Africa, for example, you get now boys who are actually work on the farms at the same time they are going to school, going to the universities. Now, the natural build is actually inculcated from youth.
From beginning.
Now, those centers that we are to build need finances. 2, facilities. 3, we need now coaches that can now be in those hubs to take care of these youth that are developing. 4, tracking down now of all these players.
Right. I have had these arguments a million times about structures, about money. So why then do we enter the championships? If we don't have the structures, the money, why don't we wait? until that time when you'll have all these things. Because that's what you're telling me.
Yes.
And this is what bothers me. Yes. Everybody you talk to about why we are not doing well will tell you, we don't have the money, we don't have the structures, we don't
have the facilities.
What are you saying, Wangila, that we should not be playing? I am just thinking, we're already there. By virtue, what was our qualification? By virtue of being hosts.
Exactly,
all right? By virtue of being hosts.
Exactly.
Now, instead of waiting for the money, instead of waiting for everything else, is it possible to be able to recruit somebody who's as built as Papa here already
It is
at
possible.
that primary school? Because that is what would probably take us to another level also. That is what volleyball has done. You know, there's a team called Kwandanze here. I really want to go and visit that school. That is producing volleyballers. They are playing East African. They're actually representing Africa, you know, at the volleyball championships, schools volleyball championships. It's because they're nurturing this talent. They are noticing it. They're not waiting for structures. Malkia Strikers are playing Colombia tonight, actually, in a Challenger Series match. You know, they have to train outside the country because we don't have the structures. But they first had to, you know, to get the players. Why are we not getting the players first?
We are not. Papa.
Maybe as a coach you can
Papa.
answer that. And maybe you don't have to answer for Kenya. What about East Africa in
I
general?
can tell you, just to improve Chipu, create and sustain Kenya under 18.
Create and sustain the Kenya under-18 team.
Yes.
Okay.
Put coaches there.
Now you'll say that needs money as well and structures.
No. Okay, I'll tell you something about the money. So imagine if all the high schools know how the head coach of Kenya Simbas now,
Yes.
how he wants Kenya players to play, how he wants the lineouts to be thrown, how the balls to be passed, etc., etc. How strong and how fit do you need to be? Yes, you have for the high schools, they have a focal point, which is the under 18, which also has a worldwide competitions. So first of all, you focus the schools to have a goal. Right now, when you're in high school in Kenya, Simbas are so far.
It's actually far-fetched for you, yes.
You don't know how you're going to get there.
Yes, correct.
But now
So
imagine
So is that what we're talking about, the structures?
Yes,
like
yes.
a pathway towards getting to the top
so
there.
create that one team only. And then all of a sudden, that the under 19 will show up in the clubs, etc.
But maybe then the secondary schools ball games might help because they're going to be held on the 8th and 9th, and we know that there are rugby teams as well there. I think
So like now St. Mary's Yala,
Yes.
Koyonzo boys
Yes.
who are beating
Yes.
Vihiga mercilessly.
Yes.
Someone should have been out
That-
there.
that means
Mary's
looking at
actually
those
won the
players.
seventh.
that
They actually
competition,
won the
that
seventh.
competition now is a selection for the under
Yes.
18.
Yes.
You get it, or schools combined. You know, you used to call it
Is
schools
Kenya
combined.
Rugby
Yes.
going to select from the
Yeah, they will
is
do
Kenya
that.
Rugby there?
But you need to give them some room to do that. yeah?
Absolutely, yes.
But now imagine now they do that. They want to do it from primary school, but now that if you want to improve next year's under 20, focus the under 18,
Yeah,
then
right
the
now,
under
yes.
19s, the ones that are out of school, under 19 and under 18, under 20, all those are different teams, even though they are very close in
Is
age.
that something that is happening, or are we
I'm
just talking?
I'm actually deliberately avoiding to ask that question. Why has that has not been done? Because it will get into the politics of rugby now, which we are not interested in.
Yes.
That's why I'm not asking you why that was not done before.
Just to agree with what Papa is saying, once we focus for the next under 20 at the 18 level, under 17, under 16, give them quality games.
Quality games. So
Quality
yeah,
games.
Okay.
Give them quality friendlies. Attach them. Like, for example, right now, we are in a form of a partnership with Western Province Rugby, that is in South Africa.
Yes.
Why I would strongly recommend that now, when these teams now have reached that level of under 18, have quality friendlies and have quality training programs, technical, especially technical. You've talked of those guys are under 20 and they can play professional, they can do this. You look at them, they're massive. Once they go there, you make a player now, make sure he thinks in a semi-professional way.
Okay.
His view of the game must be different, must be
Let's
changed.
talk about some of what we saw at Nyayo Stadium.
Yes,
And
yes.
What do you make of Zimbabwe? Because they were the defending champions, I think. What do you make of them?
I can give you a slight angle on what he's saying. You know, he's mentioned the Western Province. He's mentioned the development pathways. The one job, if you create that schools combined or under 18 team, for next year, the one job they do, they go to Craven Week in South Africa.
Okay,
Next
yeah.
year, Craven Week is the same pathways for all the unions and all the federations in South Africa to present their best school leavers.
Yeah.
So we're going to compete there already.
So that was missing. That has not happened for how long?
Every year.
No, but it has not happened for us for how long?
It hasn't happened at all. So we need to send those boys, everybody, those St. Mary's Yala, the ones who are competing this year in the schools championship. That those guys who are in the semis or quarters of that whole competition, they are competing for going to Craven Week. You get it? So now you can see now we're focusing them into thinking nationally as opposed to thinking of beating your school.
But let's talk about what we have at Nyayo Stadium.
Yes.
What do you make of them? Let's talk about Zimbabwe, for example, who Chipu is going to play on Sunday.
Yes.
What do you make of them as a team?
Fantastic. We love them.
They
because
beat us
they're just like us. You know what I mean? They even speak similar language to us.
The game they played against the US was probably one of the slowest games in the tournament.
But guess what?
And you remember even the scoreline was what, 38-37?
Yes.
By 1 point, and it kept on oscillating.
They got it last minute.
Zimbabwe was leading, then the US took it by a point, and Zimbabwe again, then the US, you know.
So you can see we're growing at the same rate as them.
But they're equally slow, if you ask me.
Yeah,
I mean, in terms of the competition. We've got
if
to
we're
compare
faster,
ourselves
then
with
we'll
the
be competing for third place. If we're even faster, we'll be competing for first place. But so you understand with some limitation. They have limitations as well. But we are growing. That's what I'm saying. We are growing at about the same rate as them. Yeah. But we're happy we're faster than the Americans. So who have a lot of money. So you can imagine the good stuff these Kinakatis are doing. Yeah.
No, Curtis Aloch has done a lot. I congratulated him at the
that's
stadium.
what I'm
I told him
saying.
it's a good job. Although I talked to him
against
before
so
the
many
game.
odds, we're doing much better than guys who have a lot of more resources. Yeah. So we just need to get a better feeder system, some more money, etc., etc. All of a sudden, you'll see greater things happening.
Support, attention.
Because the brains we have.
Facilities.
No, I know you don't want to talk about this, but Damian McGrath has just been fired. Well, I wouldn't even call it firing. He was bound to go anyway because we can't afford him. I mean, you can't afford him because now Kenya has been relegated. Yes. Do you think that's a new beginning? Because sometimes an end is usually a new beginning. What's the new beginning in that? Although it's a seventh stage.
Yeah, of course. I mean, because it's a new course, it's a new beginning. It's easy to say.
But in terms of also affordability, sometimes you downgrade. If you can't afford to drive a bigger car, you drive a small one. Or you go to a smaller house, or
So maybe in terms like.
No, I see you're struggling to answer. No, you're struggling to answer questions for the sevens. Let's stick to the 15s. Let's stick to the 15s.
You have the same problem in 15s as 7s. It's no different. Because what I'm trying to say is the salary at the top and the salary at the player level.
Big discrepancy.
There's a big discrepancy. But even the small ones that you promised, you're not given. So that's a problem also.
That was a problem. I hope with this new administration, we sat with the chairman and he's trying to sort out a lot of things, and we're happy with the progress he's making. But
can I use the wrap ourselves as Kenyans now in the Kenyan flag? Yes. The person who gives the Kenyan flag to every team that is going to represent the nation is the president. In his capacity, not as the head of government, but the head of state, which is totally different. He gives the flag only to 4 different people: his ambassadors, his ministers, his army, and his sports team. Only those 4 people. Nobody else, president gives the flag.
Correct.
But the players now of all the volleyball people you're talking about, the runners, there should be a token from the state, not the government, from the state to all the players of all disciplines.
To carry the flag.
To carry the flag, yes.
Yes, okay.
Just to say.
You're talking about some motivation.
To say a floor. It's a floor, not the maximum. You don't want like expatriate salaries. You just want the floor.
Okay.
Similar to like.
Are you saying it's not being done for rugby?
For any sport, it's not being done for any sport.
Hand it over to the athletics team.
The president gives like a lieutenant salary or a corporal if for the young guys, a cadet or something salary. On the 1st of January for the whole year for all representatives of Kenya.
What I think is trying to get to
Yeah.
Bernard, it's quite simple. We know very well next year or next year, after next year, we'll have the under-20s. After this tournament, let's thank our technical bench that has done very good work. Let's thank our players.
Exactly.
Let's not say it's number 5. Just sheer participating in it, let's appreciate the job
Okay,
with
so
the little resources that we have.
Appreciation.
We need to plan ahead. And
Okay.
how do you plan ahead? We need to now put our structures from the word go after this tournament. This is where we are right now. And by next year, this is where we...
Okay, so we need to plan. All right, we'll talk
Yes.
about that in a little while. Let's take a look at what's going on over the weekend. And one of the things that is going on is also the rugby under-20
Yes.
World Cup finals. But let's take a look at the fixtures for the weekend. There's a couple of things that are going to be happening. Actually, a lot of things. There's the
a lot
Netball
of
World
things,
Cup is starting. There's the Women's World Cup that is going on. Ken, what else is going on?
There's, of course, the Rugby World Cup that we are talking about.
Yes.
There's South Africa is attempting to make it to the second round of the FIFA Women's World Cup. They're playing Argentina at 3 a.m. tonight. In netball, Tonga is playing Fiji tomorrow at 10. New Zealand, Trinidad, Tobago. We have the Africa Boxing Championships that are ongoing in Cameroon. I think those are starting tomorrow. You mentioned the Malkia Strikers Challenge. I mean, there's a lot.
Malkia Strikers is
going on.
playing Colombia in tonight, actually,
Yeah.
in a bid to try and make it to the World Cup. There's a CAFA Under-18 Women's Championships that is going on in Tanzania. There's also the Under-19 Cricket World Qualifiers. They're also happening at the Gymkhana, the Tanzanian Gymkhana. So there's a lot happening over the weekend.
We have Formula One as well.
Say again?
There's Formula One. The last
yeah.
race before
Yeah.
the break for summer in Belgium.
Correct.
Yeah,
It's
on
the Belgian
Sunday.
Grand Prix is also
Belgian
going
Grand
on.
Prix, yeah.
Let's talk about the rugby finals. We'll close with that one now. It's going to be Spain, Uruguay, and Spain. What do you make of it, Wangila? Uruguay and Spain.
Uruguay,
Just one
Spain.
word. We are just closing out.
One thing I'll just definitely tell you, Uruguay. No, the Kenyan spirit.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they have the spirit.
Okay.
They have the zeal. If you looked at it, the way they wrapped, Scotland walked into that game knowing that they're
They're
getting
gonna
the
win
game.
it, yeah.
Technically, they knew right from the word go they're having it. But the spirit is what wins everything.
Okay.
Yes.
What about Chipukizi and Zimbabwe?
Zimbabwe.
Because I know one thing, you're going to enjoy the game whichever way, but we have to look for who's going to win as well.
The one who will win is the 16th player, which is the
Zimbabweans were louder than the Kenyans, and there were very few.
Yeah, they were very loud. Yeah.
But they were louder than
That's what I'm
the
saying.
entire multitude of Kenyans.
Yeah, so we come with our voice on Sunday.
Yes.
Support the boys. It really matters to the boys.
How are you
Especially-
going to get the crowds into the stadium?
Let's go on social media. Let's go on TV. Right here.
Turn out and support the
Let's
Let's
go.
go.
That's what they're saying.
Come to families, come to
Okay.
friends.
We need that 16th voice.
Great.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for having come to talk to us. It looks like a short time, but it's because we had a lot to talk about, and it was moving very quickly as well. And we wish Chipukizi the best, and that your advice will be taken as well, because we want to see Chipukizi doing much better, so
Yes,
that we can
yes,
feed into the Simbas.
We have the
Try and
talent
make it
for
better.
sure.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much. Well then, we have to end it there again. Time flies when you're in good company and talking about good things as well. But that's another edition of Scoreboard. I see your tweets, a lot of them, but I can't read them. The producer says, look, it's time to go. But thank you for having kept us company. We hope to see you again next week for another edition of the Scoreboard. Goodbye for now.